All right, guys, good morning. Today is Wednesday, obviously, your asynchronous day. So, today we are going to learn about architecture, service, and industries in the state of Ohio. So, again, just a little bit of housekeeping stuff to remember that I will not have live classes Thursday, tomorrow, or Friday. Um, I'm going to be out of town. So, I will do this for Thursday and I will give you some type of instruction on Friday as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go over some vocabulary words. Remember, your vocabulary words are not on your benchmark short cycle assessment this Friday. So these are just to let you know that you need to know these words. So architecture is the art and design of a building. The architecture of Cinderella's castle was world famous at Disneyland, right? Everybody knows that castle. Cupola is a small dome on a building's roof. And now this is something that I just learned. I didn't realize what it was called. If you go to a Capitol building, you'll see the domed roof, and that's what that thing's called. It's called a cupola. Architect is a person who designs buildings, right? Frank Lloyd Wright was a famous American architect. Next word is services, and that's just works that help the public. Health services keep me and my family healthy. Industry is a trade or business that could be in anything, but the steel industry in Ohio was important as your example there. Manufacturing, the making of goods on a large scale. A lot of Americans have jobs manufacturing food, right? So people work in factories and they make things. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the architecture. So this is going to cover your Ohio State Standard Geography, places, and regions. We're going to talk a little bit about architecture. And the very first thing right off the bat is math is important in designing buildings. Math is important in designing buildings. You have to know math to design buildings. You have to know math to build anything, really, not just buildings. So math is very, very important when you're designing buildings. Shapes and angles are used. Ohio has unique buildings, and these are just some of them. The Ohio Theater, Carl B. Stokes Federal Courthouse, the Ohio State Reformatory, the Arcade, which is in Cleveland, the Longaberger headquarters. And if you live in Columbus, I'm sure you've seen this. It's a building that looks like a basket, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So those are some of the unique buildings in Ohio. So let's look at the Ohio Theater. This is in Columbus, Ohio. It was designed in 1927. All the beauty is actually on the inside. It's a two-story tall. There's a two-story tall crystal chandelier inside and a gesso wall decorations, and it has the original pipe organ. It was considered Thomas Lamb's best work, and that's who the architect was who built it. As you can see here, there's a lot of detail and a lot of things just like on the walls and everything else. There's just so many little tiny little details. And on the outside, it looks like a brick building. So this building just fairly went up new. This is the Carl B. Stokes Federal Courthouse. This is located in Cleveland. If you go to Cleveland, you can see the skyscraper. It's 23 stories high, and it uses two building types. So it uses a government landmark, which is a stone structure as it hugs the ground. So as you can see, that it looks like it's stone, right? And it's hugging the ground. It's not up off the ground, and it's literally right at the ground floor. But it also uses this building type of being an urban tower. So it reaches skyward to announce the heights of human achievement. That's what an urban tower does. So any skyscraper is reaching skyward to announce the heights of human achievement. So now let's look at the Ohio State Reformatory. This is in Mansfield, Ohio. This was a previously used prison all the way up until, probably about 20 years ago that they closed it. But it was designed by architect Levi Schofield. It's a limestone building. It was, whenever he built it, it was supposed to bring uplifting spirits and inspiring thoughts and to be a little intimidating because you are putting prisoners in there. It was built in 1896, 10 years. It took 10 years to build it. Several films were shot there, including Shawshank Redemption, and that's the most famous one. You can actually take a tour of this reformatory, and there's all kinds of tours that you can take. You can take a movie tour that'll show you where certain scenes were shot in movies. You can take a ghost tour, or you can just take a history tour and understand the whole entire history of the building. This is actually on my things to do at some point. I'd like to go visit this. just because of the history that's involved in it. All right. So, services and industry. This is going to cover your Ohio State standard geography, places, and regions. The first industry we're going to talk about is just Ohio's in general. Okay. We have the seventh largest economy in the United States. So that means Ohio is number 7 in bringing in money into the state. The thing that makes Ohio unique is that each city is unique. All right. Cleveland is known for medical research. I'm sure you guys have heard of the Cleveland Clinic, University Hospitals. They are known for medical research in Cleveland. And if you live in Dayton, you know all about the aerospace and defense factories and places in Dayton, right? There's an aerospace museum in Dayton. There's all kinds of stuff to do with aerospace in Dayton. The other thing is private businesses. So Walmart employs 50,000 Ohioans, and the Cleveland Clinic employs about 45,000 Ohioans. So this is what makes Ohio's industry so unique. It's spread out over a vast amount of things. All right, so let's talk about the aerospace and defense. Ohio is in the top 5 in the U.S. in aerospace part production. That means that any parts that we put together on an airplane or we put together on maybe like a fighter jet or NASA or anything like that, it comes from Ohio. And it's located in Dayton, Ohio. Most of the things come from Dayton, Ohio, whenever it's produced in Ohio for aerospace. 16,000 people were employed in the aviation industry. It used to employ over 37,000 people in the 90s. The reason for the decline is now we're getting different types of weapons and different types of things that just don't take that many people to make. Plus, we have robots that can make things faster and quicker. So the average employee makes $26,000 more than those in other manufacturing sectors. And the defense contractors present in Dayton are Lockheed Martin, Armor Holdings, and BAE Systems, which is the top weapons manufacturer. So now we're going to talk about the bioscience and healthcare industry in Ohio, and we're ranked 4th in the United States in this industry. We have over 1,000 biotechnology related firms that it employs over 100,000 Ohioans. So over 100,000 people work in bioscience and healthcare. Healthcare includes bioscience, and it makes up 15% of Ohio's economy. So one industry makes up almost 1/5 of the entire economy of Ohio. Dominant companies in Ohio, I mentioned some of these: the Cleveland Clinic, University Hospitals of Cleveland, the Catholic Healthcare Partners, and Premier Health Partners. So the thing to remember about this is healthcare and bioscience make up 15% of Ohio's economy. That's important. So now we're going to talk about education. Okay, so let's talk about education. Okay, so we're going to talk about education. It's one of the best in the United States, Ohio is. Our medical colleges rank 6th, and it impacts 400,000 people directly or indirectly. It's part of the higher education system of Ohio. We have the largest comprehension system in the United States. And you can just look around and just look up Ohio colleges, and you will see Kent State, Cincinnati, Toledo, the Ohio State University, Ohio University. You got Bowling Green State University up near Toledo. You have the University of Toledo, Cleveland State. You got University of Dayton, University of Miami, and many, many, many more colleges in Ohio. So education is one of the bigger things in Ohio. So that's one of the things about Ohio where we do excel, and we excel in education. So the next thing we're going to talk about is agriculture. Okay, so if you drive down I-70 or I-77 or 71 or take any interstate, really, you're going to notice farms, right? You're going to notice some corn or soybeans or something like that growing in a field that a farmer will have to go and cultivate. So our agriculture in Ohio accounts for about 125 billion, that's with a B, dollars. 1 in 7 people are employed in the agricultural sector. So that means that you're either working on a farm, you're either working in a factory, producing, corn, whatever, or soybeans or eggs, You know, that's what that means. And this is kind of neat, and I never knew this. Ohio is the top Swiss cheese producer in the United States. So if you get Swiss cheese, more than likely it's coming from Ohio. I never knew that. So that is something neat to think about whenever you think about Ohio. We are third in egg production in the United States, sixth in soybean, and ninth in corn. And I would thought that corn would be a lot higher, but the fact about corn is we can only grow it for about 6 months here. We can't grow it year round. So somebody in Florida could actually grow corn year round because of the weather. And there's more than 75,000 farms in Ohio, which is an astronomical number. Okay, so now we're going to talk about an industry that doesn't really exist anymore. It does, but not like it used to. So Ohio historically has been the steel center of the United States. So that's something important to remember, that Ohio historically has been the steel center of the United States. We produce about 14 million tons of steel. We generate about $7.2 billion from the production of steel. And it accounts for 15% of raw steel in the United States. And currently there's about 34,000 people employed. And as you do your homework, you're going to notice that those numbers, while they seem like they're huge now, they're going to be pale in comparison to what the steel industry used to be in Ohio. The Ohio steel industry, Youngstown, is a shell of its former self because of the fact that they lost all their steel industries. So look, I'm looking forward to you guys reading about the steel industry in Ohio, because it is really, really fascinating to see how it went from something so big to now just something that's not that strong anymore. All right. So now we're going to talk about motor vehicle assembly. So it's on a slight decline compared to the early 1900s. It used to account for $16 billion. But because of the decline, it's increased tax and competition, which significantly affected industry. So your largest companies in Ohio are Chrysler, Daimler, Ford, Honda, and General Motors. Okay. So the reason why what happened was, just a little bit of a history. In the early 1990s, President Bill Clinton signed something called NAFTA, NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement. What this did, it allowed companies to go to Mexico or go to any country in North America and open up a factory and not have to pay any import or exporting taxes when they're bringing their items back into the United States. So they were able to produce cars cheaper in a different country and not have to worry about getting taxed when they came back. So that is what really hurt the automobile industry. But that was whenever I was 14. So you're talking 27 years ago, whenever that first went through. So that's how some of the automobile industries, how it declined here in Ohio. So did you get it? Yes or no? I am not going to do this because I want you guys to do the book it for today. In Thursday's module, and you can play it as many times as you want, because if you go through that book it, that's going to be the quiz tomorrow. So I want to, or on Friday, I want you guys to make sure you understand it. So your homework for today, I want you to watch the Cleveland Terminal Tower video. Do week 10 homework Terminal Tower video worksheet. That worksheet coincides with the video. So every answer on that worksheet will come from a video. I want you to watch Ohio's odd architecture video, which is really, really neat because it's going to tell you about some odd buildings and stuff that are in Ohio that I never knew existed, and they're kind of neat to see. I want you to read the agricultural industry reading and do read Ohio's steel industry reading, and then do your steel industry worksheet. Every answer from the steel industry worksheet will come from the steel industry reading. Okay, they go hand to hand. Remember, all homework is graded. All homework is mandatory work to turn in. Study your quiz, study guide. Make sure you do the book it a couple of times. And remember, bonus points for doing a video project is not the Flipgrid one. I just want you to upload a video as a tourist, as you're promoting your hometown. Okay, and turn in CNN 10 worksheet for bonus points. A heads up with CNN 10, I am not going to be able to post those every day. Tomorrow, I won't be able to post a CNN 10, and Friday, I won't be able to post a CNN 10 in the modules. So you're going to have to go to YouTube and watch CNN 10 on your own. Unfortunately, I won't be able to post those because they don't come out until I think they come out like at 11 o'clock at night for the next day. So that's just something to keep in mind. But that's what I want you to do today. Remember, I am going to be hit or miss with questions and stuff this next coming 3-4 days. If you need something, um, the other teachers will be available. There shouldn't be really anything pressing for social studies. Basically, after you do this work, after you do your homework today, the only thing that's left is to do the benchmark exam on Friday. And I will send out an email on Friday with the link in it to you guys. So you'll be able to do that and just do that and we'll be in good shape. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on Monday, and I'll tell you a little bit about my trip when I come back. Maybe I'll take some pictures and stuff, and maybe I'll upload stuff to my YouTube video or YouTube channel and stuff like that. Maybe you guys will see it if I remember. But all right, guys, have a great Wednesday. I will see everybody on Monday. Bye-bye.